What I want to show you at this point is just an analysis that Thomson Reuters Icon carries out with regards to Sopharma AD. And one thing that I wanted to highlight is that let us just stick to the indicators that we've seen so far. It's interesting to see that there is something that can be considered kind of an outlier. Look here. Some pieces of information can be interpreted just like outliers because look here. Enterprise value revenue and enterprise value EBITDA for 2016 are kind of strange values. Look, enterprise value EBITDA, for instance, is 0.95, not even 1. And this is something that I was very interested in verifying if anybody has pieces of information on this. Because look, it says that, of course, the formula is EV EBITDA, and it is December 2016, fiscal year 0, and it says EV, it is 614, and EBITDA is 646, which is pretty strange. I mean, why do they have such an enormous generation of EBITDA and such a limited value of the enterprise value? It is pretty strange. By the way, if you go to fiscal year number 1, which is 2017, everything returns into expected values. It's 805, the enterprise value, and 8.8, the EBITDA, which is completely different in terms of the analysis. I was wondering if anybody in this class has a clue about the performance of this company. So there might be a specific set of specific reasons why this performance is so strange. Because otherwise, I mean, other indicators are pretty much in line. I mean, enterprise value sales, it goes around, 1, and between actually between 0.7 up to 1. And enterprise value EBITDA is for the coming years in the range of 10 to down to 8, but it's reasonable. By the way, it's also interesting to see what the system proposes in terms of tiers, just to build, of course, the same indicators as we did this morning. And these are the peers that they highlight, which are, in terms of countries, they are mostly Chinese, as you can see. Interesting. These are the peers. And it might also be interesting to understand, as you can see, the index average, so the mean value for the sector is, let us take the price book value, for instance, it's 1.75, while it is only 1.19 for Sopharma. So potentially there is an upside to consider. It's not the enterprise value, but it's price sales, but everything summed up, this is I noticed it before, it's a pretty low level of indebtedness that we have within Sopharma.
Low rebound.
They remained
undervalued. If you check the other 14 companies, you
I will see that
go to the same.
it is exactly the same result. Thank you for this contribution. And it was just, I just wanted to go back to our indicators here that in terms of sales, it's 1.81, which goes along with what you were pointing out. There is a clear upside potential still hidden there. And in terms of EBITDA, it's 11.17, and you remember that it was 9 point something for the incoming year. So still a potential significant upside. And the price earning here is 23, while it was just something around 7 or 8 in the fiscal year 2017.
Then the most important thing is the quantification of the financial figures, where we want to apply the multiple. And so now I want to show you that at the end, more or less, let's consider that we evaluate our company 6 times the EBITDA. And by multiplying the EBITDA times for 6, we can have the enterprise value. Of course, then, if you deduct from the enterprise value the net financial position, you can have the equity value of your company. But, as I showed you before, the most important thing is about which kind of EBITDA should we use for this multiplication, and which kind of net financial position should we use. Because depending on the financial figures we analyze and we focus on, the valuation could differ a lot. The first question is, should I use the last accounting year EBITDA, an average of the last 3 years, an average of the last 2 years, the next EBITDA, which kind of EBITDA? This is the first question. Yeah? But maybe I can say the next one is really aggressive. It's future. It's an expectation. And so I'm paying you something that you didn't realize. It's really hard to say that. So I totally agree with you, Umberto.
Depends. I mean, you cannot
It depends.
on the existing one, but it gives 0 then.
Yeah, that's true. And as always, it depends is the right answer. Okay? So this is one question. And also for the net financial position, which kind of net financial position should I use in an M&A deal? The one I have in December 31st, so at the end of the last accounting year, or the net financial position I have when I sign a deal, when I close a deal, when I make a closing. It could differ a lot. It could differ.
The date of the deal.
Yes, but it could differ a lot, and you should negotiate. And so this could be also a deal breaker. Let's start with the EBITDA. If we look at all the most famous books, the EBITDA definition is always that EBIT plus depreciation and amortization is equal to the EBITDA. So I think we can be aligned with this definition. But in the reality, when you evaluate a company, it could differ a lot, this definition. And also, the net financial position, if you look at all the academic books, the right definition is that net financial position is the total financial debt minus cash. Okay, let me start with the net financial position because I prefer. Okay, so this is the academic definition. But when you evaluate a company, it's no more like that. Because, first of all, of course, you should add all the residual leasing. So, you should consider leasing cost, leasing debt, of course. Probably you don't have in your balance sheet, but you should consider in the net financial position. But I think that we can agree. But this is very easy and almost obvious. Then, what would you like to add or deduct from the net financial position definition? Obviously, Umberto told me before, it depends. It's always like that. It depends if I'm acquiring a company or selling a company. Of course, this is a negotiation. But in the last deal that I made, we always add, for instance, so plus accounts payables overdue more than 30 days. It means that we add to the net financial position the accounts payable that normally you can't find this definition in a book, in an academic book, because accounts payable cannot be considered a financial debt. But in an M&A deal, an evaluation, you should add, because it's like if you're using a supplier